injuries today. Armand Armstead was limited. Nick Perry was limited. Marquise Simmons was limited. Simi is out. And Jordan Cameron was limited today. I thought in general, we've had 2 pretty good days of practice. I think the players have gotten the message that we've not played anywhere near to our standards here or to the level we expect from them. And it's been good to see them come out and practice like a team that's hungry and not a team that's complacent.
So how tough is it not knowing what team is going to show up day to day at this stage? Because it's early.
Sure, it's early. We have to remember this is our first year in the program, first year together as a staff, first year as our coach, as our players with us. So, we'll continually, be in a process of figuring out our team and who we are. We've seen 2 drastically different games from different sides of the ball, and so the challenge this week is to put it all together and see if we can play a complete game.
You talked about kind of building up some depth in the defensive line and linebackers. Did you notice any fatigue setting in either of the first 2 games in the defensive front 7?
Yeah, definitely. We have been very fatigued in the fourth quarter in both games on defense because we hardly play any players. We don't rotate very much. We're going to try to do a little more of that. We've been trying to develop our depth. We just have, we need to play the guys so that we're fresher in the fourth quarter. Unfortunately, that game Saturday didn't go as we would like, to where we're not subbing early and we get up and we're in the fourth quarter playing our backups, but because we didn't play well enough on offense, we ended up having to keep our starters in.
Talked to Monty just now about what you're going to see this week offensively. I guess there's some mirrored images of what you guys do in some respects, right?
There's some similarities. They're playing really well on offense. Running the ball extremely well. The tailback's got a ton of yards. The quarterback rating's great. He's been very efficient. He's played a bunch of games himself, and we're going to have our hands full. This is a really, really good offense, and they're going to be playing at home on the turf, and they're going to come out ready to play. I'm sure they're upset about last week and ready to prove a lot of people wrong.
Salivating though at what their D has shown so far.
Well, obviously they've given up some plays on defense and a bunch of points last week, but that stuff doesn't matter what you've done before. You see that all the time in professional football and college football. Teams will surprise you every single week, so you've got to be ready to come play every week, or you see what happens around the country. James Madison against Virginia Tech. Those things happen every week, and we don't want to be part of that.
Looked like he gave James Boyd a little bit of a look today. Where's he kind of at with his game?
Yeah, with the 2 guys limited today, in Armand and Nick, we gave James some look. He was actually on our service team last week and did a really good job over there. Worked hard, so we bumped him up and gave him some reps over there. And we've got to find some depth for some guys to play, to rotate, number one, and then if guys get hurt, to really play and have a role for us.
You alluded yesterday to, and you have a couple times too, you don't have a scholarship fullback backing up Stanley. Mm-hmm. You're thin in the defensive line. Have the defections, that where kids could go because of the bowl ban, has that hurt you more than you thought it might have at this stage of the season?
No, I thought it would hurt us. I thought maybe it would hurt us more on special teams than it has, but it's hurt us not being able to rotate people. We go to try to rest the defensive end, and our defensive end's starting in Tennessee. We go to rest a fullback, and he's playing for UConn. So some of those things have hurt our numbers, and those guys would have improved as they were here within our system, like we've seen a lot of these guys. But I look at it in a positive way. We're getting a lot of practice at what's going to happen over the next few years. We're gonna take 53 scholarship players that have potential to play Saturday. That's the NFL roster, 53. So that's far less than what the penalty is. The penalty starts next year at 75. So this is good practice for us.
Coach, it's going home for you in many ways, right? What's it like in this respect? First time is in college going back there.
Well, I got a lot of homes.
Yeah.
I moved like 17 times or something. So
the gypsy, right?
Everywhere we play seems to be a home. So it is a place that I went to 3 years of high school at, and still know a lot of people there, and really unique place from the aspect of just off the charts friendly people, and a great place to raise kids. So I have nothing but good memories there.
Were you a Gophers fan or Vikings fan when you were living there?
I didn't have a choice to be a Vikings fan. Wherever your dad coaches, you're a fan regardless. And so I was a Vikings fan, and I followed the Gophers. They've always been close to being one of the upper teams in the Big Ten. I know that this stadium was always going to be the big step, to get them to that next next level, and I'm sure they feel that they're getting close to that.
How about just the fact that you interviewed over there, and how close did you think you were at maybe getting that job?
Oh, I don't know. It was the first time I'd ever interviewed for a head job. It was a very, it was a really good process for me to go through the preparation for it and going through it and sitting there with the athletic director. So it was a good experience for me, and I thank them for that.
What is the identity of the team? Like in the spring and summer, you didn't know. And after 2 games, do you know?
No, we don't have any idea. We see one thing one game. We've had 2 completely different games, and it's obviously taken us a little time. But like I said, we got to remember we are in our first year here. It doesn't feel like it because we've been here before, but this is our staff's first year and our team's first year with us, and so it takes a while to develop identities. Things don't change overnight. Just because you come in and they take on the exact identity you want them to be. It's a process, and as we continue to develop that with our guys that are here and bring more guys in throughout the years, I'd like to think that we'll be closer and closer to what we want to be.
Do you have a hope when it might happen this season that you'll have a grasp of the identity?
Yeah, I hope that we'll be really tough and we'll be really disciplined. We're not disciplined right now. I think we're tough, but I don't think that we're disciplined at all. So we're in a continual process of trying to get that.
What's the secret to forcing more turnovers?
Pressure on the quarterback, number one. He's the guy that always is responsible for the most amount of turnovers on offense. Getting some balls. We've seen that we've got nothing, no tip balls or anything, and we've really not got the ball out on the ground. There hasn't been strips. We haven't been very close to many turnovers, so hopefully that'll change this week. Our defense had a great day today. Our defense rarely gets turnovers from our offense out here. Our offense does a good job with that, and they got 3 of them today, so I'm hoping that's a good sign for this weekend.
What's your philosophy on teaching discipline? Because it's hard, isn't it?
Well, think about what you guys do with your own families when you have 2, 3, or 4 kids. Try taking 17-year-olds, come from all different walks of life, and establishing discipline. In 6 months here, so it's a constant battle. We start with it off the field. I think we've done a great job with that so far. It's a continual process every day, and eventually that'll carry over to on the field.
Brendan Carswell is kind of buried after his hamstring injury. How's he worked his way back up?
He's done things right. He's been consistent. There's a number of stories like that on this team, like Mark Tyler, when guys do things right and are consistent in the systems, they move themselves up.
So does it help that you already have 1 road game under the belt and feel like this is a little bit more routine?
Yeah, it does. It's at least they know our expectations. They know how we travel. They know our system, and it's a 2-day trip. It's a 2-day early trip, just like the Hawaii was. So that was good that we've already done that. This is 2 long trips in a row, and it's good that we've done it before. It's good that we knocked the 2 long ones out right away.
That's good.
One more. You've lost 2 spots in the polls, 2 straight weeks after wins. How strange is that?
I can care less. Last time I checked, it's not going to matter at the end of the year where we're ranked. So I don't worry about that or concern myself with that at all.
Even from a prestige standpoint, it doesn't matter to you at all?
No, it doesn't. I'd want us a lot lower after last week.
Really? Okay, thanks.
Appreciate it.